Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Grand rising. I don't use the good morning thing because there's nothing good about morning. So those of us who's enlightened and awoke, understand what I'm saying, and those of you that's not should understand what I'm saying. Look up the origins, look up the history. It's nothing new. It's nothing new. Actually, it is something new because before they even came to this country, so-called Africans in Africa and indigenous Aboriginals and other Aboriginals around the world wasn't saying good morning to each other. So, grand rise and the peace and blessings, family. A lot of people wanted me to talk about. Some people want me to talk about the Matrix, and I said, okay. You want me to talk about some Matrix, huh? So, to sum it all up, we are souls experiencing a physical experience. Even though we are trapped in these bodies, these sarcophagus or bodies called bodies, our energy is trapped in these bodies, dealing with some form of what you would call a cosmic trick. The other entities played on their parents, along with a lot of experiments going on. Okay, understand that there's a difference between a soul and a spirit. You know, I know people use the word spiritual, but really, you looking at stuff that's soul energy. Even though spirit is a spark, or spirit is a animated spark to make things animate, meaning animated male, animal. So we have people that's on the planet that don't have spirits, that don't have souls. They have spirits. They're trapped in this realm. When they die, they come right back. They can't escape it. But in our sense of us having a form of enlightenment and knowing the process or have studied the process about life after death of reincarnation, because the reincarnation is the trick. You know, you die and you don't because when you die, you from studying what I've studied, and a lot of because you have to study in a lot of different levels, schools, because it's not one school or one knowledge that they're gonna just cover everything. Everyone have similarities, but I'm only just talking about this one as I know of it at this point. Um, upon death, the body is leaves the soul leaves the body. But being that these entities wanted to keep these souls trapped, because at one time you was able to leave your body and just leave, like, I don't want to deal with this, just go, and then just leave and go out into the cosmos and incarnate somewhere else as some kind of other entity somewhere else, or some other kind of physical entity in the third dimensional world. We're in a 3D world. We can see everything. Everything is touching and it's physical, just like the Matrix say, it's physical and stuff. But yet we're all sleeping in this Matrix. Not in so much of a sense like on the Matrix when they showed all the people in the hooked up to the machine to the back of their head, and they all just sitting there in bodies and they just dreaming in this world, and these entities are feeding off the energy life force that never dies. It just travels on, and they reincarnate and come back through the system. But they found ways to create humans, and basically we are the same thing, because we just our bodies are those people, the people that was in the coffins. Our bodies are those things, and our minds are the programming that we have, and that we're dealing with this third dimensional artificial world, believing that a lot of these mundane things are true, but really everything we are really is of a metaphysical, a spiritual world, or what you would call the spiritual world. So we're trapped. We're basically what you would consider ancient beings who's been trapped inside of these bodies because these entities don't want us sleeping dormant and want to keep us in a state where they can get energy and feed off of us. If you read on stories dealing with the story liking stories of Inky and Elil, and you get into the Gnostic strips, those are the type of places where you'll be able to get those information if some of y'all want to know. You know, Inky and Elil, or you can call the Demiurge. Uh, it's a lot of information on this beyond. This stuff is older than Christianity and Islam put together. All those things ain't nothing but plagiarized forms of trying to create something for people that didn't have nothing. So this is how they created their religion, so they can be what you would consider relevant in history. This is what people tend to do back in those times. Uh, but I'm gonna send some vibes over to y'all. Just to say, no hard feelings for anybody who hate the truth, because we know truth is the new hate speech. So there's no hard feelings in nobody, because I'm on the side of truth as to the best of my ability, and to what I will continue to grow, because to learn truth is a lifetime of learning. So ain't nobody sitting up here talking about they got it and this is it, and it ain't nothing else to it. No one have the truth. You're constantly moving. Energy constantly moves. Energy constantly evolves. So if you're not evolving, everything take on changes and renewals, or it dies out. So if you're not changing, you're basically dying. Okay. And I mean, we are dying in a physical sense due to the time span of our bodies and so on and so forth. But I'm saying on a metaphysical level, on a higher playing level, higher energy level, higher vibration level, or what you would call a spiritual level. You know, if you're not functioning on changing, don't you know, it's like routine stuff. Like, I try to change up my routine. I try not to make everything the same. I try to say, it may be, you may say, oh, I'm gonna go over here and I gotta go handle this business for this business, and then I got this little job when I'm twined with this company, I'm gonna go over here and do that. So you tend to say, no, I'm gonna go backwards. I'm gonna do this like this first, then I'm gonna go over here and handle this. You know what? Then I'm gonna do half and half. Then I ain't gonna take this way home. Always try to change and be the glitch in the matrix. But the Matrix, yes, we are in a Matrix, and we are in a physical, false world. It's kind of like the movie that Jim Carrey put out called The Truman Show. He was really living a fake, false life. Everybody around him was actors and stuff, and he was just in one big old bubble, one fake world, big old dome world. He just wake up, everything's the same. His wife was fake, everything was fake. Everybody was just actors, and he thought he was in a real world, and the real world was on the outside looking at his life. You know what I'm saying? So he basically been given some information on it, but y'all can go on all over YouTube and look up what you call the soul trapping matrix, or the soul, or Earth is a soul trapping planet. Earth is a soul trapping prison. Uh, there's many names other than Earth. You got torturous. You know what I'm saying? So for so many of y'all, you gotta understand that we are in hell, because everything that they tell you you're gonna suffer in the on the spiritual hell is happening on the physical hell, because you're not going to be able to feel those type of pains without having an avatar or a body to be able to inflict with these physical pains that have senses and so on and so forth. When your your soul is not connected to that pain or those senses no more, once it leaves that sarcophagus or this corpse. Once it leaves the zombie, because that's what we are. We are like zombies, but we think we're alive, but we're really not alive. We're really dead. Okay? We're dead until we have released our energy force, or what we call our soul, or our ka, or ba, or breath, or whatever you want to call it. It's different names, so there ain't no argumentation about that, because everyone has similar themes of how the breath is, or the breath of life, and so on and so forth, or the soul. So once you leave this demon, or this zombie, you know what I'm saying, you will be brought into what you would call a tunnel of light. I know a lot of y'all say that. Oh, it's light at the tunnel. Oh, I see grandma and everything. You know, those things are the same. those things are more of the traps. So when you enter in that tunnel and you go back into that light, you ain't doing nothing but reincarnate yourself back down to this prison. Now, many of us have came here on our own. I feel that I came on my own, and people think that physical work in this mundane world is more is worth more than truthful information that will enlighten your soul. So when you pass that physical, but you shed the physical body, you will come into this trap and you will be confronted with family members and these entities is going to be transforming into your family members or whoever that you took a high regard going to try to talk you into the tunnel, try to talk you into the light. So you can go into the light. You say, oh, that's light. But not knowing you're only seeing 5 or 4% of the universe from this angle because how Earth has been locked down and gridded from the rest of the universe. But there's a lot of other information pertaining to that. You can look that up. It's a lot of information on that. You just got to look up Inky and Lil dealing with the soul trapping planet, the experiments that they have done all over the planet, how they created all this, what their purpose was, the so-called Anunnaki coming down and tampering with mankind and turning off certain things of our DNA so they can create the perfect slaves to dig the gold out of the earth. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more things than we just talking about Jesus or Muhammad. Shit is way older than that. Them ain't nothing but just water, the least of the watered down version. There's so much more. But yes, we once you die, you have to from my knowledge, I'm just sharing it from what I know. Once you die, your soul is released from the body, and you will be greeted with what they call a guide into the tunnel of light. It's gonna be somebody influential, boy. It could be your mom, your dad, or whoever that you hold dear will be the most influence on you to fool you back into the light. To tell you to come into the light with us. And then you can come into the light for many want to know, well, when you go into the light, what happened? Well, when you go into the light, whatever your highest fantasy or what your, so you can create your fantasy. It will make a fantasy world for you until you reincarnate. So you're going into a fantasy machine. I would say, I'm going to say you're going into a fantasy machine once you walk into the light, and when you're going in your highest fantasy of something that would keep you occupied until a relative or someone else went to another body is presented for you, and your soul will be injected back down into a body because you'll have to be mentally stripped of your past or suppress your past. They say it's somewhere you go to what you call the black moon, and that's where they do the brainwashing process. So when you come back, that's what that movie about Boss Baby and all that stuff was about. It's telling you different things about how they go. And you can go places and find out about children that was born in this planet that came back and say, hey, I used to be over here and I used to be a woman and I got killed in a plane crash or I was killed in a car accident or I was strangled and I was born in Scotland and they born in America and they remember their past lives and they went and people have investigated their past lives like, wow, this is true, reincarnation exists. Oh, these children come back down because that matrix system up there is starting to teeter out because there's too many people on the planet. It ain't going, it's reincarnating to the point where it ain't even stripping the memories. Some of them just sending them back down the bodies. Just that's what's happening. We having a glitch in this system at the same time while we're still going through it. So they're trying to create other ways to lock the soul down to this planet to the point where you will never die and it can just continue to use your energy. You know what I'm saying? And your consciousness too. Because it's all about your consciousness when you die. What do your soul know when it dies? Because when you shed this body who's trapping you, and it's a way that is set up to keep you not from remembering your past life. People say, well, there ain't no past life. Well, first of all, your talent was nothing that you just all of a sudden just knew. That was something that come from a past life or from generations that you come from generations of parents of past lives that had that talent and you just didn't know you had it until you start tampering with something that triggered it. Okay, and the DNA triggered it and you just caught on to it. And that's a lot of things about us why we're so great at things that we do, no matter what it is. It can be ignorance or good. We're great at it because we have a DNA that remembers all these things that have memory. Okay, and this is the thing that we have to understand too, that these memories are connected to our consciousness. So when you die, you'll be aware of your past life. But many people die in a state of fear of the unknown, just like many other people. But you have to understand that you have to have some information or have some knowledge, because it's a weapon for you in the spiritual world. To know, or what you call the fourth dimension, fifth dimensional world, when you shed the physical body. And then it said in knowledge that at one time when you shed your physical body, you can leave and go about your way. You can you can escape. But too many was escaping, and then these demiurges, or what you would call these so-called gods, or what you call the Anunnaki, or whatever you want to call them, they decided to put a string on your soul, a celestial cord. So when you die, it pulls you right into their dimension where they controlling it, and they're trying to convince you to come into the light. Now understand is that from what knowledge says, you're more powerful than them. You're a god. Okay, I'm talking to melanated people who have souls. I'm not talking about a spirit. You know what I'm saying? Because all the little ghosts and stuff running around here and the stuff doing all this crazy stuff is mostly them day ass that's locked down here that didn't want to go in the light, along with some of our family members that didn't go in the light, that's following us around right now, that's helping us, that's on right, standing right next to you. Maybe be one right here, just animate me right now to say the things I'm saying. So you have to understand that we're dealing with two type of worlds: the physical world, the spiritual world. We're spirit. We have a soul, and we have a physical body. So that makes you more powerful in so many ways than one. So you can pretty much demand a lot of things from them. Tell them, look, and say, hey, relatives, whoever with me, whatever, and try this rather than a prayer. Say, ancestors known and unknown, and life forces and energy forces that's for the good of me. Address me, help me, guide me, help me get this, do this, help me deal with this and deal with that. Show me favor, things like that. Because these energy forces work, because you have to be aware that they exist, that they're here. That's what they want, acknowledgement, to know that they're here. You got some of them that run and physically come back, but majority of the time they can't really just jump in your body. But you got a lot of other people can, because we kind of like protected because of melanin. So we can walk through the dark, walk through this celestial world along with this third dimensional world, and won't really too much be harmed. That's why the white folks constantly harm us, because we're gods when you're walking through this world. Now, the soul belong to the solar system. You came from some other system. You came from the solar system, okay? And in the process of you coming from these solar systems, you were basically tricked into a cosmic trick by another god or another entity. Some say it comes from the Titans fighting, and they blood was created, made souls. A man is pieces of the Titans, and so on and so forth. It's a lot of other knowledge that can be addressed to this. I know many of you probably saying, yeah, man, and it's talked about. Yeah, I know all those too. I'm just trying to break it down. It's so much stuff. I'm trying to break it down in the least form as possible. But put it like this. Let me just get it basic, because I did it basic before. Basically, when you die and you wake up into this fourth dimensional world, you're going to be confronted with entities. Not that can't harm you, so don't fear. You have power. You don't know how powerful you are. You're going to come into this tunnel of light, as they would say, and it's going to lead you into the light that's going to put you into your celestial sleep, or what you would call your fantasy sleep, your soul sleep, until they can find a body to put you back into prison. Okay? Now, you can deny all that. You can turn against it, deny it. You can look at the holes that's inside the tunnel and just think yourself through there and go out to the fourth dimension. You can deny it. They can't force you. Okay? They're only going to convince you. They only can convince you like they do people today. You know, they can convince you to go in there. Your mother gonna come there, baby. This is where we all at. Come on, I've been waiting for you, and things like that. Come on, son. I am Jesus. Hey, I am Muhammad. I am Buddha. You know, they, everyone that you're, it's like on the movies. Whatever your thoughts is, they're gonna bring those things as well. So you gonna be basically kind of like battling your higher ego, because that's what's really controlling us here on this planet. We believe we really alive, but really we're dead. You know what I'm saying? Because we're trapped in these bodies and we constantly shed these bodies, getting more and more, and they feed off that energy. And then every time we reborn here, they just break us another slave to contribute to this big ass matrix system. As far as you working a job and flop and drop and all the type of shit that we doing, paying bills, paying for water and good water and all type of crazy stuff. So these are the type of things that we're confronted with. You know what I'm saying? Really a lot of things, a lot of things that really considered irrelevant on up to the point as that it all comes down to you saving your soul. This is why a lot of people say, I sold my soul, because you can sell your soul to the point where you you won't even be able to have the power to incarnate out and don't have to return to this mud. You know what I'm saying? Return to this hell. You constantly got to contribute to it. You're gonna reincarnate naturally, automatically. You created a system where you sold your soul, and I know what I mean. There's many different forms of it where you can sell your soul. Some of us sell our soul in small ways, and big ways, and major ways. You know what I'm saying? Even us that's enlightened, we're in a system where, in some kind of way, you got to sell your soul to little bits and pieces of this system to even survive in the system physically. You know, it's dangerous. It's crazy. It said that don't let nobody fool you to believe, because they're enlightened, they conscious that they don't have no connection to this matrix and that they don't even live in this world. No, you go to the store, you go buy food, you pay taxes, you go do something physically so you can pay that bill for that building or that apartment or that house you don't even own. You know what I'm saying? So you're part of this system no matter how much it is. It's about the consciousness. It's about the soul having the conscience. Your soul have the information necessary, so when he go back into this tunnel of life upon this lifetime that he lost or that she lost, she'll be conscious enough to know that, hey, out of all these whatever many time a lifetime, 10,000 years, I might be 5,000, 6,000 years old. Out of all these thousands of years you've been incarnating, I've been reincarnated, and I get it now, motherfucker. You motherfuckers is keeping me trapped here so I can keep suffering. You understand? So now, you know what? Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I'm just doing this shit street intellect style so niggas, you know, my brothers can get this shit. F all of y'all. No, I don't even want to be in a part of this. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you want to go in there, remember that when you die, your conscience is 100 now. It's 360. So when you go into this era, you can create crazy shit for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you see creating crazy stuff for yourself in this other world. Okay, you ever see a movie show called Ghost Whisperings? And this lady, she was born without the veil, and she can these energies, these people that die, some of them get caught in a loop and don't know they did, but they can see light. They see you. You know, they go mess with other people, but you have a different light. So there's these energies, spirits or souls, I would say, will go to this lady, and this lady will try to help them cross over into the light. Okay, because they don't see the light, because they still feel they have some work to do on Earth, so they're still roaming around on Earth. So she's saying her job is to get them in the light, and then you got the other guys that are trying to keep the people in the dark or keep the people in the way, but they do good things, but they're trying to keep people out of that system. So it's a war going on between those that want to, that's working to put people in the light, and those that don't want them going in the light, keep them creating their army and their world and outside of that matrix. Okay, it's real deep. It's called Ghost Whisperings. It's a series. It's real deep. It's real deep. It's real. It got a lot of information in it. You know what I'm saying? That can give you some kind of understanding about that. You know, and that's kind of somewhat true too, because once you out of this, you die and you manage to get out this matrix, you can come back. You can come back on your own. You don't have to come back as no physical dumb baby, not knowing nothing, and you're all white clean, and only thing you're gonna have is the little talents, abilities, and little flash and flings of your past life that you don't even know why that deja vu was happening, but just all you'll be having now. You gotta attribute it back to this physical third dimensional world that they created for themselves, the soul trapping world. And once you get out of that world, you understand that you don't want to go back there. You can constantly, you have the power. They can't stop you. You're powerful than them. You can just get out of there. Okay, don't think that they're powerful than you. They're gonna try to make you think that this. You go back this time, you gotta fix your karma. You gotta do it again. No, you're back again because they keep telling you gotta do it again and again and again. No, don't get used to that. You can leave there, brothers and sisters. That got the souls that soul people. If you understand, even anybody. You can get out of there. All you got to just think yourself through it. Switch holes and the thing. Just think. Get yourself out of there. Don't go into the light, basically. A lot of people say, well, you're going to be worshiping the devil. Hey, I don't want to come back here. I can see everything in the dark. Because got to remember that you got the black dot. You can see in the dark. You know what I'm saying? The underworld, you would say. You can see in the dark when you got a soul. You can walk through the valley of the death. And, shadows of death. You know what I'm saying? So you can walk through there. Don't be scared of those entities crossing yourself up. You know you walk through that mud power energy that I can't really explain it. You know what I'm saying? We got to die. No more. But you can, the conscious levels of what's been written on this underworld said that the Egyptians, or what you would call the Kemites, had figured out a way to fool the Demiurge or fool the system to make it believe that they were still alive on the earth when they wasn't even alive, and they was able to escape the matrix, and they can go outside of the matrix and come back and start helping family members, being spirit guides and all type of things. Once you break out of it, you can come back and be all these different things. All of us have these spirit guides that, the white folks name angels and all type of things like that. But we have these guides standing right next to you. You be seeing numbers that repeat numbers. You be seeing things that repeat things. Do you wind up knowing things like you said, damn, I need to figure this out. And then you get a thought in your head is there, or dang, I need to do something. And you trying to do something, or you doing something the wrong way. And for some reason, something force you to do it the right way, and it forced you to do it in a way that you wasn't trying to do. You were trying to avoid it, but it forced you to do it. You ever try to drink that alcohol or drink certain things or do something, and all of a sudden you had this cup or whatever, this food in your hand, and all of a sudden it's like bam, it just dropped out, fell out your hand or something, stuff like that. Yes, things similar to that nature. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at things like that, because that's how this matronic system works. And then you got to remember that when you're a glitch in this matrix, some of us is glitches. I'm a glitch. I feel I'm a glitch. Because if I'm finna go do something, bam, next thing later, matrix, bam, some old white lady gonna stop me from getting where I'm going, or they gonna have some old, what you would consider the cute white girl in your face, and it's just like what Neo and do say. Did you see the girl? I put her in there for a distraction move. So we have to understand that when you're in this matrix, a lot of distractions being used on you because you are God, and the more conscious you become, the harder this matrix works against you. That's why it makes it hard for us. That's enlightened and knowing what this is. And you know what I'm saying? And understand that it's gonna make it hard. Be like, man, shit, another problem. Okay, Matrix, I got you, but I'm not folding. I'm gonna keep doing what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna fold me. You can send your sentinels and all their little gangs, because remember, family members can be sentinels, girlfriends can be sentinels, wives, everybody can be a sentinel. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker that will report you to that system. Not saying conscious, but will make it rough for you. Okay, because they program that way, and when you're not programmed, you have an unknown programming system. You're agile. They don't know what your move's gonna be, so you're kind of like up in this matrix doing your job. Yes, you can get killed in this motherfucker too, even though you're dreaming. So understand that you are as in a matrix. We are in a bubble. We are trapped in this third dimensional world where, along with things that's blocking our, what we would call our prayers or our meditation, so vibrating harder is a benefit. You know what I'm saying? Eating right, tapping into your chakra systems, it is all part of this whole system. Some of us are naturally connected. A lot of people think that you have to do it. Some of us are naturally selected. That's already connected. That's just like a total third, basically a walking, talking, living book being controlled by them. And a lot of us that has retained a lot of this knowledge have retained this knowledge in past lives. That's why it's so easy for us to retain. And a lot of people that really can't get it, you got to think about it, is you're an old soul or you're a new soul? Because it's harder for a new soul to respond. It says that when you burn the body upon death, you reincarnate faster. And it says the longer you live on the earth, the longer it takes for you to reincarnate. So if you're 100 years old, you go kick it in the go through the light. You'll be sitting in this physical fantasy world, believing you in heaven, at the same time getting brainwashed until somebody, relative or somebody have a baby and they say, we found the body for you, bam, and they inject your ass into that dumb baby body and you back down there with your little minor tense ability that they couldn't get away from you because you're a certain type of energy and things like that. I'm just giving y'all a basic rundown for y'all. Look up the soul trapping matrix. Look at the soul trapping. Look up Inky and Alil. Look up the Anunnaki or the Anu. Look up the Sumerian texts. Go look up the Gnostic strips, Gnostic strips. Look up every other history because people keep trying to make y'all think that Africa is the only place where the great things happen. No, that's not Africa. That word don't even have an origin to that continent. I'm just saying, based on y'all, we knowing that continent it's been these entities has done experiments all around the world. That's why all the different races got different type of talents and abilities because they was giving them certain abilities. A lot of the Anunnaki or these entities, higher entities from different life forms is more than just the Anunnaki. You got the Palladians. You got a lot of different other things. Y'all got to look into that. Yeah, call it whatever you want to, but these are ancient scripts written about shit like this. Some people call it pseudo, but it's something you need to go read them so you will know these things, and they make more sense than the typical programming things that we constantly see that they allow us to have. So you have to go check out the stuff that's bizarre. You have to check out the stuff that you would call blasphemy if you're religion, or you'll be like, oh, that's evil in religion, but you ain't understanding the origins of it and how did it come into existence and so on and so forth. These are the type of ways you have to research, family, so you will understand this that we're in a matrix. My job, from what I know, and I'm filled full of information, I may explain it to people in the places where they don't even like the way it getting explained, but I'm going to tell you the truth of it because I have sat down and read it, studied it, observed it, researched it to the point where I physically or mentally know it like the back of my hand. And, I didn't even know I had a mentality or mind that could retain all this type of information until I got involved in information that made me constantly or causing it to what I was doing. I'm saying, damn, how do I remember it? And I got friends and people that be like, how do you remember all this stuff? How did you know all this stuff? Ooh, the same way you know all that bullshit in your brain. You know a shitload of bullshit. So your fucking computer chip called brain is filled up with a gang of bullshit, and you don't got no room for no extra information but bullshit that relate to it. So when shit come that's because this take more megabytes, I would say, to learn truth. Okay? Because lies can be a million things on one motherfucking megabyte. You know what I'm saying? Because it gotta keep recreating itself to exist in each dimension. The lie do. The truth is just one system, motherfucker, probably 10 megabytes. You know what I'm saying? But when it come in, it's gonna trap the lie in all circles of itself, and it's gonna crush it. And it's gonna hurt people's feelings. It's gonna make people think that you teaching hate and so on and so forth. But that's the way truth is. Truth is bold. Truth is not your friend. Truth will hurt you. Truth will kill you. Truth will expose you. Truth will help you. Truth will set you free. Truth will separate and bring together. Because we in a matrix. Peace and blessings.